welcome back to our channel. I'm Danielle, your resident romantic.
And I'm Lindsay, the fantasy fan, and we are friends.
Till the book ends. Today we are coming at you with an April TBR, talking about all the books we want to read.
I can't believe it's April.
I know, we're almost like halfway through the year.
Sort of.
So, okay.
We're like a quarter of the way through the year.
Right, so like an idea of how far away we are along in the year. My coworker joked that I enjoy Christmas, so he was like, "Oh, I bet you know how many days it is till Christmas." So I lied and pretended I knew, and I was like, "It's 279 days." And then I looked it up, and it was 281 days. So
that's pretty close.
That's how far we are in the year.
Excellent. So we're almost at Christmas.
Right.
Yes.
We're a little derailed, but okay. So TBR.
Bring it back.
We have a lot of books we're going to talk about. One of them may overlap. Stay tuned. I will kick us off. This was on one of my previous TBRs, I'm pretty sure. This is The Roommate by Rosie Danan. I didn't read it the last time it was on my TBR, so I'm going to do it again. I'm slowly running down the numbers of books I have on my bookshelf that I haven't read yet. Lindsay and I were comparing, and she has like over 100, and I think I'm at like
terrible
30. So I'm getting there. This, as far as I understand it from last time, basically, I think the main premise for this book is that there's kind of a bait and switch going on. So the main character, her name is Clara. Clara and her best friend are like, yeah, let's move like cross country and move into this apartment.
It's bold.
And Clara, yeah, right? I think there's some other stuff that happens. I don't know. So Clara gets there, and it's not her friend who's living with her. It's this like random guy that I think Claire's friend knew.
How does that happen?
I think maybe Claire's friend is trying to set her up.
Oh.
With it.
If you ever did that, I'd fucking cut you out of my life.
But what if he was like your soulmate?
Nope.
What?
Unless he was Ian Somerhalder or
oh my man,
Chris Hemsworth.
You can have Chris Hemsworth. I will have Ian Somerhalder. I'm sorry, that's not really a good synopsis, but I've talked about it too many times before, and I don't feel like giving you all the details. I just know it's going to be like a love story that probably starts a little bit of hate.
Love that. Okay, so March has been a really slow reading month for me, unfortunately. I have like a new job. Well, it's the same job, but I'm teaching a different class. It's really hard to explain, which means that I'm doing like a lot more work, and I'm also in a reading slump. So essentially, I feel like I've read nothing. So I'm trying to give myself options this month and not freak out if I don't get to them. Because this is what keeps me up at night. It's like book anxiety. I'm like, I did not read enough books this week. And then I'll just stay up all night and think about it. Yeah, and I'll come up with a plan. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'll read 75 pages. Then the other day I'll read 120 because I have more time at work to do that. And then I do none of that. And then I feel bad about myself.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so anywho. So I'm trying to give myself like options this month and like a variety of options and things that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like. So the one book that is a carryover that I didn't read last month that I still really want to read is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. You wrote a book, congrats. I won't, the synopsis, I'll just vaguely tell you because I've already said it, I think twice. I think this is the third time this is on a TBR and I haven't read it.
It is the third time you've almost hit me with a book, but that's okay.
So essentially this girl named Laura, she lives in her kingdom, and she and her whole kingdom are feuding against another kingdom who's in control of this like important bridge, and she, first like in a political sneaky spy maneuvering thing, decides she's going to marry the son of the other ruler, and then she finds out that maybe her side is the one with the issue and not theirs. Anyway, it's a hate to love, and it's like, I think it's an indie published romance, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it, so that is one that I would like to get to if my brain allows me to in April.
Next on my TBR is the Souls Trilogy.
Oh, wow, she got the box set.
Yes, by Deborah Harkness. This is actually my coworker's fiance's box set. I started talking to her and we were like dove right in with all of our books, and she was like, hey, you might like this one. I was like, oh my god, I might like this one. As far as I can understand it, now it is a trilogy, so the synopsis I have is kind of brief. As far as I know, it is full of supernatural entities. It is also a kind of a historical fantasy. So you have Diana, who is a witch, but she has kind of shunned that part of her. She just wants to be normal. Then she finds this like mystical or mythical scroll that is kind of important, and a lot of like mythical beings want it. and so she has to decide whether she needs to now embrace the witch part of her and do what's right involving the scroll and the issues that are going to arise from that, or whether she should just be like, nope, not my problem. There is also some romance as she meets and possibly falls in love with a vampire named Matthew. I'm gonna read these books. Next.
Okay, so the next book that I'm going to reread a book. Because I have so much time for that. But I'm rereading Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, because the second book in the series, Chain of Iron, just came out in March, and I remember nothing of what happened in the 600-page book. And these are books... Yeah, she has a chunky boy. These are books that you have to know what happened in order. Some books, like, if I read it a year ago and I, like, vaguely remember, like, the important plot points, right, I can continue on without rereading. This is not a series where you can do that, because there's so many goddamn characters and so many little behind-the-scenes things that, like, become important in later books. I mean, in history of Cassandra Clare's writing. So... brief summary, because this is so hard to summarize because there are so many characters and this is such an expansive world. But this is part of the Shadowhunters world. We're following in this book Cordelia Carstairs, and she is the daughter of Tessa and Will from the Infernal Devices series. So we're set in like the 1920s in England, which is a fun time. And I think there is like demonic activity that is unusual happening, and there's angst. There's so much angst. Because she's in love. Angst. I love angst. She's in love with a boy named James, who's in love with a girl named Grace, who turns out to be like wild. She's a crackhead. And so there's this whole thing happening set in England, and then there's like a whole bunch of like cute queer characters that I was like so excited that Cassandra Clare was like writing.
Yeah. And
the whole thing was just a good time. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars last time I read it, so I know I like it, and I'm hoping that this gives a nice refresher to the second book, which is also a chunky boy. She looks just like this. So I have a lot of reading ahead of me, but I think I'm going to really enjoy it because I like Cassie Clare's writing.
The next one on my list is Take a Hint, Dani Brown by... Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so my next... So, funny story here, we started picking books to talk about on our TBR video, and I was like, oh, I guess I better put Take a Hint, Dani Brown on here, and then Lindsay was like,
wait a minute.
I have it.
I was like, I brought that book to talk about, so...
we are going to make this our next book club pick, considering that the next pick is technically mine, and also Dani is in the title, we're going to make this my pick.
I think that is appropriate.
I think that's a good choice. You know the synopsis better than I do. I know that Lindsay encouraged me to read it because you've read other books by Talia Hibbert, right?
Yeah, I read the first book in the series, which is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I thought it was really cute.
And there's like cute romance throughout all of the books that she writes in this series, kind of thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a more specific synopsis?
Yeah, so Dani is the sister to Chloe from the first book, and she works at this company with this dude named Zafir, who is the security guard. He's like a brooding, kind of like cranky dude.
Which you're going to love.
And I'm going to love that because I love cranky, mean men.
I like the mean, but I'm good for you manner trope.
So they like, there's a video goes viral of them because something happens. There's like a fire drill, and Dani like faints or something, and Zafir like quote unquote like rescues her. And so the video of him carrying her out of the building goes viral, and people, they start like a fake dating trope because it's really good for Zafir's, he runs a nonprofit charity thing, and he's getting a lot of publicity because of it. So I think it's like, I know it's a fake dating trope, but I think like real feelings start to emerge.
Of course.
I've heard really, really good things about this, and it's set in England, so.
Oh, is it really?
They're British.
Just said that. We all know that
I've been waiting.
Forget the synopsis. Tell me it's in Britain or there's an English guy involved. I'll give it a look. Okay.
So, we're really excited.
Also, fair warning for this, when we talk about it, I'm gonna make a lot of references to myself, because this is, my name is on the book, so just prepare yourself for a lot of cheesy jokes. It's
gonna be so narcissistic.
It is, absolutely. But if ever anyone had a chance to be narcissistic, like this is a good reason.
Time for it.
So, next one for me is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I don't physically have it because I will be reading the ebook. This was another Lindsay recommendation. She recommended Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I didn't love as much as she did, so I'm going in it with a little bit of skepticism this time.
It just broke my heart that she wasn't as obsessed with Red, White, and Royal Blue as I was, because that was like a game changer as far as like books go for me, so.
Which is fair.
It's fine.
To each her own. But we'll see if this one at least lives up to the Lindsay hype. As far as I know it, you have two characters. It's Augustus, who is an author of literary fiction, and then January, who is an best-selling author of romance books, and they both get into this writing slump, and they challenge each other to write in each other's genre. So she has to write a literary fiction, he has to write a romance, and they kind of challenge each other in that he'll take her on some kind of brainstorming trips that invoke some literary fiction ideas. She'll take him through some like romantic notions to help brainstorm on that. I'm told it's also kind of like the hating game, so I think there is going to be a little bit of rivalry at the beginning.
Yeah.
Something else will blossom.
Love.
I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this more than the other one.
I hope you like it too.
Yes. I will say the synopsis is cuter to me than the Red, White, and Royal Blue, so maybe that's already a good sign.
Yeah. So this is a book I don't know that much about, but I bought the entire trilogy. Well, actually, it's more than a trilogy, but I bought the first 3 books because it came in a box set. And that's Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. And Robin Hobb blurbed it on the front, and Robin Hobb is like a very beloved, like high fantasy author. So I've never read a Robin Hobb book. I act as if she's like the do or die for me. I've never read a Robin Hobb book.
I'm just waiting for you to trip up on the name, Robin Hobb.
Robin Hobb.
Save that
but everybody loves
fast.
her. So essentially this is following a girl named Sophia, and she's a truth witch, so she's able to discern truths from lies, and it's a powerful magic that people would like kill, literally, to have. So Safi has to like hide her gift. Are you yawning during my...
I tried hard to resist.
She's like, you're so boring.
Oh, keep going, I'm listening.
So she doesn't want to be like a political pawn, so she tries to hide her gifts, but she teams up with another witch who is a thread witch who can see emotional ties that entangle like people around her.
Oh.
So they end up meeting a prince who's a wind witch, and they have to fight emperor soldiers and a wicked blood witch who will stop at nothing to get their hands on a truth witch. So it sounds like something I'd enjoy.
There's a lot of witches.
I'm excited to read this book. And I really like the covers. They redid the covers, and they're much nicer than the old ones. Oh my gosh, I bent the cover.
So much for a nice cover.
I'm a terrible book owner. God.
The next one for me, my nonfiction book, is going to be How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Feldman Barrett. I'm sorry.
One of those.
Yeah, it's one of them. I was really drawn in. First of all, the cover is so pretty. I don't have it here because I'll be reading it as an ebook, so I'm going to plop it up. It's so pretty yet simple, and it really draws me in. I also like it because I have a psychology degree, and this book kind of focuses on a lot of the developing sciences such as physics and also natural selection and biology, and how all of the things we've learned from that can actually change our perception on how emotions work. A lot of people suspect it's just hardwired in you. This author takes a different look and thinks that there are different strings that can lead to different emotions, and understanding how the different emotions are connected and how they can contribute to each other. I am super excited for it. I wore the shirt in honor of talking about it because my dad always jokes that I don't have a psychology degree, I have a psychic degree, which they're really not the same, they just start the same, but I bought the shirt in honor of him, yeah. So I figured that would be fun. I'm really excited to read it. I enjoy anything to do with emotions. I'm like a psychology nerd.
You are an emotional person.
I am, first of all, yes.
Okay, so the next book that I got is like a brand new release, and I'm the first person from my library to have it, which is nice.
You love that.
I love having a fresh library book. And that is Wings of Ebony by J.L. So this book had a really like big hyped press release, but I've heard nobody talk about it since it came out. So I'm like, what happened? Is it good? Does nobody just want to say that it was bad? So essentially we're following this girl named Rue who lives in Houston, I think, Texas. And she finds out that she's actually like half god, half human, and her father like whisks her away to like the god land. I don't know. But she has to like come back and save Houston. And it has to do with like Black kids are being forced into crime and violence. And so it has, you know, it has ties to like modern day like social issues that are going on. And it's an urban fantasy, so like it takes place like in our world technically. So I haven't heard anything about it since it came out, but I really like the cover, and it sounds a lot like Legendborn, which was like my last 5-star read that I had forever ago, it feels like. So anything that like gives me Legendborn vibes is something that I want to replicate in my life. So I hope this one doesn't suck.
I hope for your sake it doesn't either. The last one on my TBR, The Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. As far as I understand it from the synopsis, this takes Lily, I think she's 17 years old in the book, and the Telegraph Club is actually a lesbian bar. She goes
Hell
there.
yeah! That sounds awesome.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just like the name of it. Like, it's
it does, yeah.
So she goes there and she meets Kathleen, and she kind of gets brought up into this whirlwind romance, but it's more than just love between two girls, because this is in America in 1954, so we're not as progressive with those kind of relationships. The other thing is that Lily is an American Chinese person, but her father, who I guess is, I believe, got legal citizenship from China to here, he's now facing deportation. There's also the Red Scare is happening around in Chinatown, so there's like so many things that these girls have to deal with, and it's, as far as I understand it, it's kind of this like deep contemporary feel good, but also feel like love is worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm describing this, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I like it. I feel like I've read a lot of fluffy romance lately, and I want to get some like hardcore grit, you know.
I like the cover. I have seen the cover.
The cover is
really
cool. I still don't have it because again, it's going to be an ebook. I've like put a lot of ebooks on hold at my local library, and they're like all coming through now. Yeah.
Okay, so the last book that I'm going to chat about is a book that I actually got last month in Fairy Loot, and that is This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, and I've never heard of this book until I got it, but it sounds really interesting actually. So it's a sci-fi book. I'm really on a sci-fi kick lately, and we're following this girl named Karis, who is orphaned, and she is forced to serve her country's ruling group of scribes, and she wants to find her brother who was shipped away forever ago. But they don't care that she's like an orphan or whatever. Her nation's like sole goal is to unlock the magic of an ancient automaton army, which I'm like, that sounds really cool. So while she's searching for her brother, Karis like somehow accidentally awakens a hidden automaton named Alex, and he is like intelligent, he has a conscience, he's like AI. Okay. So he has no idea why he was made, or why his father, their nation's greatest traitor, once tried to destroy all the automatons. So essentially I think they team up and start working together, but they become hunted. But anyway, the freaking art on this is like stunning. It's like beautiful and shiny, and the ring light's gonna catch the shininess on this, but it's got like beautiful cover work inside.
I really like the color of the pages. Right?
Oh yeah, and the pages are like this really pretty kind of like maroon sprayed really edges. Pretty. And yeah, so I've been on I've really wanted to read sci-fi, and this one, since I've never heard of it, I've read the synopsis and I was like, this sounds really cool. So I hope I enjoy it. Usually Fairy Loot, I do really like their picks, so I'm really excited to read this in April. Oh my god, I forgot about a book.
What book?
It is the third book in the From Blood and Ash series.
No.
How could I forget? Oh my god, I'm a terrible fan. I'm a terrible fan.
Fake fan.
I'm a fake fan. It is called Crown of Gilded Bones. I won't even talk about it. I'll just let you know that I have pre-ordered it already. So it will get here, hopefully, on April 20th. I will drop everything that I'm reading to pick up this damn book.
Damn.
So yeah, so that book will, if I'm still in a reading slump, it will rip me out of it. So at least I have that to look forward to.
Yes, and around May, we're gonna do like a come shopping with us video, and I promise, Lindsay, that is when I will dive into this new world JLA has created. We'll have already had 3 books come out.
Yes.
So I will be able to talk about it with you.
Yay!
Then. So stay tuned for those videos and for those conversations to come. But for now, have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
Bye.